We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Larry Gusted.
Here.
John Glasspool. Josh Gran. Franklin Hahn.
Here.
Chase Munson.
Here.
Rich Shield.
Here.
Eric Johnson.
Here.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Any corrections, additions, questions?
I've read them, they're very long, so I'd like to commend Michelle for doing a good job making the minutes. Putting
Yes,
together-
she spent many hours listening to that.
Bet she did.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right, so please take notice that an application has been made by Ryan and Stephanie Schultz at 803 South Pine Street, Caledonia for a conditional use permit to build a dwelling on under 40 acres in the Ag Protection District. And that's in Spring Grove Township on part of the east half of the southeast quarter in section 24, Township 101, Range 7. Said applicant standing and making application is as holder and owner of an enforceable option to purchase full interest in said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, April 14th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered public record, and this was advertised on April 8th of 2026.
Are the applicants here? Would you come forward? Tell us what your plan is.
We're hoping to section off 5 acres of our in-laws, 57 acres to build a home.
Okay. Is this on an open quarter then?
Yes.
Okay. So, not that it makes any difference, but you got electricity there, you have to bring it in, or what?
We do, there's utility lines running along that private driveway
Oh,
to the east, so it's about 125 yards for where we would like to build.
Well, that's a good deal, otherwise that can get costly.
It gets pretty spendy these days, yeah.
No.
In this one picture here, looks like there's an old driveway. Is there kind of a
It was-
path there?
Yeah, there used to be, I think, an old field road.
Yep.
We use it for side
Yep.
trail now.
Yep.
Yeah, so there is, along the fence line, the south line is a side-by-side trail that kind of comes in, but yes.
But you're not gonna use that? You're gonna propose a new one in through there?
Well, it doesn't meet the 12% or less grade.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to, talk to Tim Nelson from Houston. Met him out there, I think it was the end of February sometime. So that's where he proposed, where he thought felt confident in getting it that 12%.
Okay.
So you can get up that road on a pickup truck, but not.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it looks like a nice spot for a house.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Yeah.
Yep. It's kind of like a clearing there and
Yeah, yeah. Like it was meant to be.
So that's just, south then of Truman Drive, is that where that is? Or
Just north of Truman.
Just north,
Yep.
okay, so. Oh, that's, yeah, there's a building site on the left going towards Spring Grove, correct? And you're on the right, Is that the way it is?
As you come in Truman Drive.
You're coming in the drive?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. So
okay.
the driveway is a private drive that goes up to the neighboring property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a public road there.
No.
Yeah, you're north off of Truman.
We're north right off of
North,
Truman
okay,
Drive.
yeah, yeah.
So the bottom part of that parcel or that quarter section would be Ralph Hammel's cropland. I
Okay.
don't know if you're familiar down there, but yeah, when you come down. So yeah, we're just to the north off of Truman.
Okay.
Was that a Haugstad property?
Original.
The
Was it
original,
Hogsted?
yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
So you're familiar that living in the country, you're gonna have country smells and dust at certain times of the year?
Looking forward to it.
I have chickens in my backyard right now, so.
No,
Looking
we've
forward
been,
to
we've been
it.
looking to try to get in the country for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep,
So has everybody and their brothers, so.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard to get, hard to find sometimes.
Yep.
I forgot to have Michelle included in the packet too, but Chance Nelson had been out to the site to take a look at it for septic, and he did find that it met the requirement for 2 type 1 septic systems.
Okay.
That's good.
So what type of soil is there? Clay? Or don't you know?
I don't remember what he had noted in there. I would say more maybe of like a sandy loam, maybe?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, we haven't been out to do, like, verify soils yet.
No, he was out there, I think, it was like January, mid-January, I wanna say.
Okay.
Did a bunch of sample spots to find us the 2 suitable locations.
That'll all come when you do get your building permit.
Right.
Yeah,
This-
yep, and
We're just
he,
doing a conditional use permit to build on less than 40.
yep.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board? Any public comments? Is there any public comments here from the
Oh,
public that's here?
yeah, sorry, we didn't have anything written. I thought you were
Oh.
asking for here, but not to ignore
I
you.
didn't see any in the packet, no.
No.
No, but I was asking if there was any. If there isn't any, you got any more questions? Why, otherwise we'll go to the findings. If you got questions?
Ready? So number 1, that the proposed use conforms to the county land use plan. Analysis states that the land use plan promotes protection of agricultural land, and the fact that non-farm dwellings are restricted from being located on prime soils supports the land use plan.
Do you want to go roll call or just voice?
Voice.
Voice?
Voice is fine.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
I forgot too, so we have 8, 9, 12, and 14 that aren't applicable.
Oh, yeah, I have them circled.
I'll motion to strike them.
There a second to that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So 2, that the applicant demonstrates a need for the proposed use. Analysis states that the applicants have been looking for a property in the country for years and now have the ability to purchase some land from her parents that was once part of her grandmother's family farm. In addition, this will allow them to garden more and be better stewards of the land than may be possible when trying to manage from a distance.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
3, that the proposed use will not degrade the water quality of the county. Analysis states that an erosion control plan will be required prior to any excavation, and strict adherence is required to mitigate runoff concerns during and post-construction. In addition, a septic system will be installed per Minnesota Chapter 7080.
All in favor of 3, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, 4.
4, that the proposed use will not adversely increase the quantity of water runoff. Analysis states that the applicant will need to meet all requirements of their erosion control plan to ensure adequate treatment of stormwater runoff with the best management practices before, during, and after construction.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
5, that soil conditions are adequate to accommodate the proposed use. Analysis states that the soil survey in Houston County identifies slope and bedrock as concerns for building site development, but 1898F also notes slope as 25 to 50%, which is not accurate for the proposed dwelling location. Because of bedrock concerns, staff encouraged applicants to be proactive in understanding whether septic requirements could be met, and the site has been preliminarily reviewed by a licensed septic contractor and determined to meet the requirement for 2 standard system locations. They have also consulted an excavating contractor to confirm that road and site standards can be met.
Why is that,
It's not accurate.
yeah, I know, why,
Is that from the old soil survey, which is from the 70s?
Yeah, it's not, the line comes down,
1898F.
yeah,
okay, well, it's,
the 25 to 50% is the part that's not accurate.
Right.
For slope, it's
Right.
like 17 to 18%.
Yep.
So the fact that they're citing slope as a limiting factor is maybe not accurate.
90% of the time when it's from the 70s, it's not what it
It's not
says on
accurate.
the
It's an
site.
arbitrary
Have
line.
LiDAR and all that
Correct.
stuff.
It just hasn't been upgraded in some time.
Yeah.
all in favor of, number 5, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 6.
That potential pollution hazards have been addressed and that standards have been met. Analysis states that the applicant states they will minimize soil disturbances through implementation of best management practices during the construction process as much as possible, and a septic system designed to meet minimum state requirements will be installed.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 7.
7, that adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. Analysis states that this is a brand-new site that applicants are prepared, and so the applicants are prepared to add any necessary utilities, roads, and drainage. A septic contractor and excavator were consulted to ensure that satisfactory results are achievable prior to making the application.
All in favor of 7, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, 10.
8 and 9 are not applicable, so 10, that the conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted. Analysis states that the primary use of the surrounding acreage is agricultural in nature. There are a couple of farm dwellings in the vicinity, but overall, this area is very undeveloped. A cannabis cultivation facility was recently permitted north of this proposal, and the applicants are aware of that permitted facility, and there are no required setbacks for single-family dwellings.
All in favor of 10, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, go to 11.
11, that the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area. Analysis states that this dwelling meets the density standard in the Ag Protection District, and orderly development meeting ordinance standards can still take place on surrounding vacant property.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
12, not applicable, so 13, that the density of any proposed residential development is not greater than the density of the surrounding neighborhood or not greater than the density indicated by the applicable zoning district. Analysis states that this request meets the required agricultural protection district density limitations.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 15.
So 15, that site-specific conditions and such other conditions are established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Analysis states that the addition of a dwelling adhering to local requirements should not negatively affect the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We need a motion to accept the findings, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the findings.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. So do you want to read the proposed?
Yep. So it'd be a motion to recommend to the Houston County Board, that the Houston County Board approve a conditional use permit for a single-family non-farm dwelling on less than 40 acres in the Ag Protection District with 3 conditions, and that's in Spring Grove Township. It'd be 1, that the permittee shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations. 2, that the county may enter onto the premises at reasonable times and in a reasonable manner to ensure the permit holder is in compliance with the conditions and all other applicable statutes, rules, and ordinances. And 3, that the new parcel boundary must be substantially similar to the proposed property boundary provided in the application.
Are you agreeable to those conditions?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the county board based on those.
A second to that?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on it before we vote? Roll call vote, please.
Larry Gausted.
Yes.
John Glasspool. Josh Graham.
Yep.
Franklin Hahn.
Aye.
Eric Johnson.
Yes.
And Chase Munson.
Yes.
Motion,
You didn't call
And Rich Shield.
Yes.
You were next.
sorry about that. Motion is carried. Now this goes to the commissioners and they could overrule this board, so we're just recommending it to the commissioners.
All right.
And Amelia will tell you, I guess, when that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it'll be May 5th, it looks like.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, when you're ready,
Yeah, your time. So please take notice that an application has been made by Doug and Julie Heinz Trust at 8903 State 76 in Caledonia for conditional use permit to build a manure storage structure with a capacity over 20,000 gallons. The facility will consist of the following components: an existing 68 by 225 foot freestyle barn, an existing 76 by 70 foot partial confinement barn, an existing, we'll just go with cattle shed with an open lot, another existing freestall barn, another existing cattle shed with an open lot, a total confinement barn, another existing total confinement barn, 20 existing calf huts, an existing 46 by 205 foot feed storage area, an existing 40 by 40 foot by 8 foot concrete manure basin with a ramp, and an existing 160 foot diameter by 12 foot deep concrete manure basin, and then the proposed 40 foot by 60 foot by 8 foot manure basin with a 60 by 80 foot ramp. That's all in Sheldon Township on the following premises. It's the part of the southeast quarter of section 16, township 103, range 6. And said applicants standing and making application RSV owner of said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 5:50 PM on Thursday, April 23rd of 2026. All persons having an interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, April 14th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered part of the public record and it was advertised on April 8th of 2026.
okay, well, you folks go ahead and tell us what your plan is.
So, this will be for the dry cow manure, and then, we have scrape lanes where we feed. We've got, 85 headlocks for the heifers, and then there's 50 for the dry cows. So that's gonna be getting pushed into this as well. Currently, we've been having to haul that whenever weather permits. So this'll be kind of the last stage where now we can get it in the pit, get it injected on the ground in a timely manner, get the benefits of all the nitrogen and everything, so. That's the plan, I guess.
Is this a totally new one or
Yeah.
addition? Totally new. one.
Totally new, yeah. We were hoping to get it in between the buildings, but there was just too many restrictions, too close to the bunker, too close to the heifer shed. So it wouldn't have been big enough.
You take up some field.
Yeah. It's, I believe 9 months storage is what they based it on. And that's including the water and everything, so, and not filling it full. I think they leave a foot down, so.
So, did you design this, Jeremy, or does the state get involved in this, or how does this work?
The LMSA was designed, they're doing kind of a cost share, so they did it through like the Soil and Water District. And then when they get this plan submitted, I submit an MPCA engineer and they approve the plans.
Okay. So now, when you build that, do you build that with the intent of a 6-month storage, or don't you have a per se plan?
No, we like to do it every 6 months. You don't know what's coming, for weather. So we do the other ones spring and fall. And that way you get things knifed in and.
Yeah.
And I think what's coming, it's not gonna get any easier. I think it's gonna get to the point where a guy isn't gonna be able to haul manure in the winter.
So you're planning ahead,
That's the whole idea, trying to be in the beginning of this.
allow yourself more storage, so in case
Yep.
regulations come that you can't do it in the winter, you got a
And
place
we're
to put it.
prepared, so.
And I think 9 months is pretty standard for cost share. Does it sound right?
Yeah, even bigger, I think sometimes it's 14 months, but 9 is kind of a minimum.
Is 1 foot freeboard, is that common?
That's in rule.
That's minimum?
Yep,
That's the rule, right?
that's in rule, yep.
I assume that, I just wonder.
So Chosen Valley did this for you?
They did the soil boring.
Oh, okay.
Pete Fryer actually designed it out of the Lewiston office.
Oh, okay.
And I think Jason Rochester's the one locally that'll be overseeing everything. He did the other pits, so.
How many gallon is it?
300,000.
Well, it's well written out. I read the whole thing. I'm not saying I understood everything, but it's well done.
Yep. Well, they charge.
Case probably knew it.
Chosen Valley knows how to charge, so they better write it out.
They got everything in here.
Yeah, nice job.
Yep.
Is this all Smith then?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a ramp going down into it, or?
The ramp is, yeah, it's actually 60 by 80 for the ramp, so it's gonna be a
Oh.
big ramp.
So it's the whole,
It's part of the storage
Okay.
then.
If you
It's,
remember our small pit at the end of the old
yep,
barn?
similar to that?
yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
20 foot wider.
Yeah, okay.
Basically copied that
Off your,
right off the
oh,
freestyle
okay.
barn.
So it's gonna be kinda like that one.
Yep. Yep.
You're gonna just like push across the road, like across?
Yeah, on the east end, that's where we're planning to push everything, but if it gets to be too far for the dry cow, we're probably gonna take out 5 headlocks and come through.
Do that way?
The dry cow manure is gonna get bucketed up from the lower, we use the old existing 2-story dairy barns for the dry cows with sand bedding, so that'll be bucketed up and in.
No pipes, that's what I was going.
No, nothing to plug.
No pipes.
You won't get no calls.
I don't wanna call.
More questions from the board? A public comment?
We did receive one public comment,
I saw that. Neighbor.
neighbor, yes.
Would you read it, please?
The public comment is, I have no issue with conditional use permit as applied by Doug and Julie Hines Trust. I would encourage you to approve this permit. Thank you. Michael Markengard.
I want it read just for the public here to hear. Is there any comments from the public here? Any more questions from the board Before we move on? Go to the findings.
I'll make a motion to strike 8, 9, 13, and 14.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Whenever you're ready, Emilio.
Okay, finding number 1, that the proposed use conforms to the county land use plan. Staff analysis, the comprehensive plan prioritizes support of commercial agriculture. For instance, goal 1.1, to preserve commercial agriculture as an essential long-term permanent land use in the county. For dairy operations to remain viable, it oftentimes requires a liquid manure basin that allows them to be more responsible to handle the manure.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Number 2, that the application demonstrates a need for the proposed use. Staff analysis, the proposed construction of an LMSA with capacity over 20,000 gallons requires the requested CUP.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 3, please.
3, that the proposed use will not degrade the water quality of the county. Staff analysis, provided proper manure management application rates, no water quality degradation is anticipated. The project is ultimately to help protect groundwater quality by providing the producer with the ability to handle manure when conditions are appropriate.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 4.
4, that the proposed use will not adversely increase the quantity of water runoff. Staff analysis, all water that falls within the manure basin will be contained and clean water diversions will ensure stormwater is directed around the new project. Runoff controls exist in the open lot area and won't be affected by this construction.
All in favor of 4, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, 5.
5, that the soil conditions are adequate to accommodate the proposed use. Staff analysis, feedlot permits require soils to meet specific standards for approval as well as minimum bedrock separation requirements. Soil is a silt loam suitable for the construction of an LMSA.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 6.
6, the potential pollution hazards have been addressed and that the standards have been met. Staff analysis, proper manure management mitigates potential hazards. A manure management plan will be required and reviewed as part of the necessary feedlot permitting.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Number 7, that the adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. Staff analysis, this is an existing dairy facility so the necessary public infrastructure and utilities are present at this location. Any rerouting within the site of utilities, access roads, drainage, etc. as part of the project will be responsibility of the producer.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, 10, I think.
Number 10, that the conditional use will not be injurious to the use of the enjoyment of the property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. Staff analysis, manure storage is commonly found in the agriculture district and proper management will reduce any adverse effect on neighboring properties.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 11.
11, that the establishment of conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development of and improvement of surrounding vacant properties for predominant use in the area. Staff analysis, the predominant use in the area is agriculture. The proposed use is consistent with the typical agriculture uses in the district.
All in favor of 11, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Number 12, that the adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odors, fumes, dust, noise, and vibration so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result.
Before we vote, I just kinda curious, what lights signs are we talking about?
Just in the question? That's just a standard finding question.
Oh, okay.
There is none with this proposal.
Okay, well, I just had to ask because curiosity killed the cat. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Gotta do the staff analysis yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Staff analysis, manure storage is commonly found in the agriculture district and proper management will reduce any adverse effect to neighboring properties. This area consists of farming operations with farm dwellings and ordinance clearly states that neighboring properties in this district may be subject to inconveniences, including odor from normal and accepted agriculture practices.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
15, the site-specific conditions and such other conditions are established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Staff analysis, this project aims to reduce manure runoff potential, eliminate groundwater pollution hazards, and improve soil health, and therefore protect the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to accept the findings?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, say, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. So do you want to read the recommendations here? Someone?
The planning, for the recommended conditions, you mean?
Yes.
So the conditions, the permittee shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Number 2, the county may enter onto the premises at reasonable times and in reasonable manner to ensure the permit holder is in compliance with the conditions and all the applicable statutes, rules, and ordinances. Number 3, the permittee shall obtain all permits required under Minnesota animal feedlot rules prior to commencing construction.
Okay. You want to read the proposed motion?
Proposed motion is to recommend granting a conditional use permit for the construction of manure storage over 20,000 gallons with the above conditions.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion before we vote? Roll call vote, please.
Josh Graham?
Yep.
John Glasspool? Larry Gausted?
Yes.
Franklin Hahn?
Aye.
Chase Munson?
Yes.
Rick Shield?
Yes.
And Eric Johnson?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
If I can't haul in the winter time, you have my permission to come with your bucket and haul it down there and put it in your.
I'm gonna have to trace that, you know.
Yeah. You gotta record all that. don't you?
Yep.
This goes to the county board, you know, this.
Yeah, we'll take this to board on the 5th.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. Jeremy.
Here we go.
Ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Please take notice that an application has been made by Buell Consulting Incorporated on behalf of the Tower LLC and Jacqueline Horton Cronenbush at 15403 Hillside Road in Caledonia for a conditional use permit to build a telecommunication tower in the Agricultural Protection District. And that's in Crooked Creek Township on the following premises, part of the northeast quarter of Section 23, Township 102, Range 4. Said applicant standing and making application is as fee owner of said described lands and leaser of said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 6:10 p.m. on Thursday, April 23rd of 2026. All persons having the interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, April 14th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered public record, and this was advertised on April 8th of 2026.
You go ahead.
Okay, my name is Justin Gartner with Buell Consulting, here on behalf of the Towers LLC for this conditional use permit application.
You had communicated to me after you got the board packet that there was an error in the fall zone?
Yeah, I was gonna wait till we got to that point.
Oh, okay.
But that's fine, I can speak to it now, or you wanna get, when you read that part, I can speak to it? Or do you want me to do it now?
You can just address it now, quick.
So, okay, so in talking to Amelia here and reviewing the board packet before the meeting yesterday, I noticed an error on a setback to the east property line, that our fall zone letter is 10 foot shy of what it needs to be on the, inside the property line. When I did the analysis, I was kind of looking at living structures and right of way, and I missed the fact that it didn't meet the east property line. So we're having that engineering fall zone letter revised, and I can have that to Amelia next week. So if it comes to that, we can place it as a condition or something like that.
So there's several towers in this vicinity, correct?
There are two other towers. There's one to the north, that's a radio tower for La Crosse, Family Radio, I believe. And then there's a Burlington Northern Tower to the south.
So those other towers aren't giving the same service as this tower is going to give? Is that?
Correct. We looked a little bit at the Family Radio Tower that was constructed. So it's about a quarter mile north of where we're proposing this site. It was built in 1985 and built for like AM/FM radio antennas. It's not structurally sufficient to hold the telecommunications antennas of today's weight. So the cost would be prohibitive there.
Where is like the tower that would do, say, Verizon in this general vicinity?
What's that?
Where is like the tower that would do?
The
Verizon?
nearest tower to this location?
Yeah,
The
for
Verizon-
Verizon, I think that said was the.
Yep, that Verizon would be currently on. I don't have the exact location, but I'm guessing it's in the range of 8 to 12 miles away.
Oh,
Because it's a pretty limited service area, and I know it serves both coverage and capacity. So when we talk, in tower construction in, 15, 20 years ago, it was all about coverage. You either had no bars and you needed bars for coverage. Now, that area is also coverage, but there are towers being constructed today that are solely built on capacity needs only. You can get 5 bars, but the tower is so overwhelmed by the demand and the amount of people in that area or whatnot, that another tower needs to be constructed to offload the adjacent towers. So this serves actually a little bit of both.
So is this strictly for cell phones, or is there other things you use this tower for?
Sure. So the Towers LLC constructs the tower with a seed company in mind, a carrier that helps with the cost of it and is a guaranteed leaseor on the tower to make it, financially affordable to construct. Then there are 2 or 3 other additional locations on the tower to be able to garner the other 3 major carriers to a location, and they would rent to those places as well. But it is primarily, yes, all telecommunications related, so cell phone, internet sort of deal. But they'll lease space. I mean, they've leased space to counties before, and whoever wants to lease space on the tower, if it's structurally available to do, which an analysis is done every time a carrier puts antennas on it, so.
So does this have a range of 5 miles, or isn't there such a thing as a range?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables involved with, in building, out of building, foliage, time of the year a little bit. But generally speaking, 8 to 12 miles probably,
Okay.
and certainly improve the coverage in that area for sure.
It'll be close to probably from New Albany to La Crosse almost. That's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, it's the center point of the, of adjacent towers, whether it be 2 or 3 adjacent towers. It fills the gap and offloads those adjacent towers.
Is it, just out of curiosity, can it jump across the river? Like, can it get
Oh, yeah.
on the other side?
But, yeah, the frequency is on the other side of the river, or even is a different RSA, a different county. So they're often down tilted a little bit to not interfere with adjacent frequencies owned by someone in a different RSA. But yes, it can cross the river, or cross water just fine, yeah.
What have you seen? I know there was a comment in here. What have you seen historically from, in terms of the environmental impact of the towers on wildlife?
I've seen none. I mean, we go through rigorous federal regulations regarding like National Environmental Protection Act, which would survey all kinds of things like that hoops would need to jump through to ensure that we're not affecting any habitat or anything like that. So. many regulations.
They're federal regulations,
Yes.
most of them, right?
Yep. Yep. The FCC limits what local jurisdictions can rule on in regards to like radio frequencies for human health and things like that. And yeah, there's a lot of requirements when it comes to the National Environmental Protection Act and that sort of thing.
This is one of those, I'm reading this right, one of the like self-support ones. It doesn't have the cables way out.
Correct, no guy wires. Yep, it's a self-support or lattice style tower.
So this is gonna be in a field, farm field?
Yep, it's just on the edge of a building site, a farm site. So it will take up 10,000 square feet of tillable, 100 by 100 foot.
So there was one comment received? Did you,
Written or,
it's written?
Just the one written. That Josh referenced there.
Out of curiosity on this too, so with it being the self-support, how far deep into the ground does the like concrete go or?
It's a good question. We don't have tower and foundation drawings just yet for the conditional use permit, but we will for the building permit application. So they will have tower and foundation. I mean, I'm guessing 20, 25 feet. I mean, it's deep.
And then what happens, so thinking long-term, let's say this tower goes up.
Yep.
One day technology becomes obsolete, whether that's 30 years, 50 years, whatever. We don't need the towers anymore.
Yep.
Whose responsibility to remove the tower? And then what do you do with the 30 feet of concrete into the ground?
Yeah, so the lease between the landowner and the tower company does state that if the tower is not in use, and I think there's a county ordinance regarding it as well, if it's not in use within 6 months or a year, that the tower be removed to the point of below grade to a certain depth, which I don't have in front of me, but
Yep.
what that is. But, I mean, it certainly don't take all 30 feet out,
Yep.
but they go down below 2 foot, 3 foot, so it'd be farmed again, that sort of thing.
That's what I was saying. I feel like we had one of these before and they said it actually caused more damage to try to take it out rather than just bury it after that point. But I was just interested in.
Sure.
What is the ordinance? Isn't it a year and a day it has to be used?
We actually don't have anything, but it was a condition that I included, or proposed condition that I included just based on the last one that we had
The
done.
last one we did.
Last one, yeah.
No concern they're gonna start beaming it from outer space?
No, I don't think the bandwidth and the capacity is there. I mean, Starlink works pretty well, especially in, areas that are not served by fiber. But if you have a fiber option, it's certainly gonna be better for you, in my opinion, anyway.
That comment's page 7 too, Franklin.
yeah, I know,
Find
but
it.
I wanted you to read it.
Oh, I can do that. So it's, says, to whom it may concern, I have grave concerns over the proposed telecommunications tower and wish to voice my strong wish that this application be denied. As a property owner directly use of this proposed tower, I am very concerned about the lowered value of my property as well as aesthetic concerns. I also have grave concerns over bats which have been observed avoiding areas with high electromagnetic radiation from radio frequencies and microwaves. A reduction in bat foraging activity near towers emitting strong electromagnetic radiation would directly affect my aesthetic enjoyment of my property, as would the unsettling and certain knowledge that I too would be exposed to continuous electromagnetic radiation as well, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Respectfully, Ariane Leiden.
So, there's a lot of radiation from these towers, is that?
It's radio frequencies that, have existed for 30, 40 years now. that have been transmitted, and the FCC regulates that very heavily, and is what the carriers abide to. So whatever, power levels that they set is what they use.
This tower wouldn't be any different than any other Verizon
Correct.
tower in the area.
Absolutely, the same.
I would assume all towers have to abide by the federal rules and regulations.
Correct. They can very hefty fines, and they take them very seriously.
So this is 260 feet tall?
Correct. Including
gonna be a flashing-
Including the lightning rod, I believe. What's that?
What's that?
Including the lightning rod, I believe it's 260, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's the top of the lightning rod.
Yep.
So there'll be a flashing light on this?
Correct. According to the FAA requirements, which we'll meet.
Those flashing lights, are they solar lights?
No, they're powered.
No powered, okay.
Gotta make sure it works.
Right.
Are there any more questions?
Big lightning, this is just curiosity.
Sure.
Big lightning strike on that. No, it doesn't destroy the equipment on it.
They have surge protection that's designed for that. So I believe the lightning rod's 10 or 15 feet, and then there's surge protection that's designed for it, so.
So do they know when it's been hit, or?
If it takes, it's possible that it could take something out, and then, yeah, they obviously are notified with the alarm system that they have. But,
They don't actually monitor how often it gets.
it's monitored by the millisecond, sure. So if it went offline, they would know immediately. And there's a generator system that'll be set up there too, in case the power did go out there. So it'd be a backup deal, but, if that answers your question.
It makes sense in terms of, it's like the highest place around that area,
Yeah, it'll feel coverage great,
areas to cover, yeah.
right?
As far as the affecting bats, have you,
Never heard of anything, in any of my hundreds that I've gotten permitted, I guess. And like I said before, we go through a rigorous, National Environmental Protection Act, things through the federal, government that if we were destroying any habitat where we're placing the tower, there are certain restrictions, sometimes on time of year, sometimes on whatever, but there's nothing to my knowledge to this tower at all. Cause it's just tillable ground right now, so.
Was there any public comments from the public?
Yep.
Would you want to step? Would you step down?
You come forward and this guy can go back.
You want me to go back?
Yeah, you can come forward afterwards, we can.
Oh, Brian Brickman. The way it looks to me that it's really close to my line fence, which is directly to the north of this proposed site. I don't know, I don't have no number on it or whatever. But it looks like it's right in the corner of Jeff Lampert's and my property.
Do you have the hayfield?
No, that's where they're putting, mine's all
Okay.
pasture ground right there. I got the 52 acres directly north of the tower.
So your concern is,
Is tip over?
Well, that, and I just don't want it there if I want to, someday build on my property. I already got one tower with flashing light to look at, and now we're gonna have another one there. And I don't really see there's a lot of other areas it could go instead of right on the corner of my property line, the way I see it. And my coverage is just fine up there, so.
Do you want my copy?
I don't have my glass either.
So, do they meet the setbacks of property line here, or?
Well, we just have the 50-foot structure setback. The reason we brought up the fall zone is because the The fall zone certificate said the 134 feet, and the west property line would be 124 feet. Did I say that right? Yeah. And so he said that wasn't actually an error. So the fall zone, it won't fall onto adjacent property. I think it said 337 if I looked at it right to yours.
Off of my line.
I might have to go back a few pages, but.
I just don't think we need any more radioactive floating down on that ridge.
When he gets done, you can come up and
Yeah, so I guess I'm strongly against it.
well, I'm not trying to have you.
No, I mean, I'm just stating the fact, I don't really want it that close, even 300 feet ain't that far. I mean, I got a little cabin there and whatever, and someday I'd like to build up there, and I can't build by that other tower. So it would have to be over in that general vicinity somewhere, you know, and like I said, strongly don't want another flashing light and a 275-foot tower there when I'm deer hunting either. So that's about all I got on it, I guess.
All right, thank you. Now you can come forward.
Yeah, my name is Brett Hoos. I'm on the east border, right in the center of this sheet of paper here. And my understanding is, and I'm gonna guess, that this is a 5G tower.
5G, yeah, 5G is more of a marketing term, but there's frequencies that a carrier's licensed for, they're gonna operate.
It's a lot of electromagnetics from a 5G, right?
No more than any other frequency, it's just a different range.
Different range. And one of the concerns I have is, from the information I've gathered, from wherever the tower is should be 1,500 feet. That's closer than 1,500 feet to my property line, which is up on top, and I'm down below a little bit, below the ridge. So of course, the blinking lights don't really affect me. I'm not gonna see them. But the other issue is there's a lot of bald eagles down there, a ton of them, and they're nesting just to the south. And there's a ton of bird life in that area. And these towers cause a lot of issues for migratory birds. It's one of the big things that people come down that river road for. We have that overlook, and we have a couple overlooks, a little one, I'm right near the little one, and it makes a big difference. There's a lot of other places that could be set, you know, as the gentleman said, there's also at the corner of Hillside coming up here, there's, I think, I think it's an AT&T or a Burlington tower.
That's the Burlington Tower.
Yeah, so we got a tower there, got the family radio tower, now they wanna put a tower here. And, I mean, they have the resources to find places that are gonna be a little less obtrusive than to those of us I've been living in that particular place for 40 years, and I would prefer not to have that tower above me generating whatever it's doing and interfering with the natural habitat of there's just a ton of wildlife up there, and the migratory thing concerns me. So I would be against it. You know, it just seems like there's other options, and I would encourage you to look into the 5G thing. He's not making, you know, any major claims, but there's some stuff about 5G that we don't know yet. And why don't we wait or move it further from people till we know more about it and what it can cause? But 1,500 feet, I don't know the distance across from where my line is, but I don't believe that's 1,500 feet. That's almost, well, short of a quarter mile, so. That's all I have to say.
I think it was roughly a half mile to the river, so.
I'm sorry?
I think it was roughly a half mile to the river, if I recall correctly. Which would be 2,600 feet.
The setback is about 2,200 feet.
Well, no, that was just how far it's set back from the river, to give you an idea of what it might be from your place.
Okay. So, okay.
So there needs to be a setback from the river, is that what I'm hearing?
No,
Oh,
No, that was just to give an idea of proximity.
okay.
So that's where it is to my line.
Yeah. Well, to the river, I guess is what I went to.
Well, I'm not.
But you're not that far off,
No,
so.
my property line is probably another 600 feet up, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Anybody else? Come forward.
My name is Ariane Lyden. I also have the property directly to the east of this property. Mine is right next to Brett Hoose's. I'm the one who wrote the comment about the bats. I did not have enough time to research what I wanted to research between the time that I received this notification, which was days after April 8th, and that I had to come up with a comment. So I came up with as much as I could, but since then, I have discovered, echoing what Brett said, that there is actually quite a lot of evidence, environmental evidence, that suggests that there are birds dying at the feet of these towers. They are found there. Nobody really quite knows why. So I'm very emotional because the quality of my life is being narrowed down by so many things, by technology, by cell phones, computers, everything that we're doing, people driving so fast, killing birds anyway. There's all kinds of other things, factors that are affecting wildlife, not just towers. But this is just one more of those things that is not enhancing anybody's lives at all. I've lived in Brownsville. I've made phone calls from my property. There is no issue with cell phone reception there, none. I don't really know who this is going to benefit in a 8 or 12 mile radius of people that are sparse. It's a sparsely populated area. It's not really going to get that close to La Crosse. But what I'm really concerned about is that everyone seems to be brushing over the facts. And that is that it does affect wildlife. It does definitely affect bats. They stay clear away from that. We're already 90% loss of bats. And birds are also on a huge decline. And to find those at the feet of towers dead is a very significant and concerning fact that I would urge everyone to look into and to weigh what is being of benefit to the neighborhood and what is being robbed from the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We're not gonna argue with you.
I beg your pardon.
Your shirt.
I got behind the schedule, so I couldn't change. I apologize. My name is Brian Blair. I'm a citizen of Houston County, a resident of La Crescent. But I've also lived in the Brownsville area for approximately 20 years, or Brownsville proper. And it's just more of a concern or future concerns that might not be looked at today. And this gentleman touched on it, is the structure of the family radio tower is not structurally sound enough to add more equipment upon it, if I understand that correctly?
Correct.
How about we try thinking in the future instead of saying, well, that's not structurally sound for more of what we want to do, so we'll build another one over here. And we'll make this one structurally sound enough for us and future needs, a narrow future needs. When we were based on the co-op system in this early days of our country and still use it, is why don't even conflicting industries use the same property build the goddamn tower that'll handle what the county needs. And then we don't have 15 or 1,500 towers within the county. If you understand my meaning, as technology changes, we have satellites in the ether system there that are no longer in use and out of date. They're just waiting for them to come down. But if you've ever seen a photo of it, it's the greatest thing that mankind has done to the universe is destroy it by pollution. So our outer space is polluted with satellites. Our towers are living beyond their use. So we have to build bigger, taller, whatever. I'm just saying, well, let's look at the property itself, because the earth is only so big. And we need to maximize what it is we have, even if it means joining with American Family or whoever they are, or Family Radio, and saying, hey, listen, we need a bigger tower. How about you partner with us, we'll slap your stuff with our stuff on this thing, and then we still have one tower instead of 2 or 3 down the road. And to these 8 to 10 mile range or 8 to 12 mile range, that then specifically, based on our technology, says in another 8 to 12 miles, we need another tower and another tower and another tower. Because our business is to serve customers, which we continually need to gain, which then means we need to build more towers in order to stay in business. That's my concern is let's use our heads so we don't have to look back and say sorry. No, that's on you guys. I get to go home tonight. That'll pass. Thank you. Oh, and as far as Ariane was speaking about the bats, I know if you ask a salesman if it gets good gas mileage, he's going to say yeah. But when you ask him specifically, have there been any negative? Well, not to my knowledge. But if I'm not looking for it, then I can honestly say not to my knowledge. So there is research out there to back whatever everybody else wants to say. What percentage of that is true? People know, but they're not going to expand on it for you. You have to bring that to their attention, just like you guys have to have it brought to your attention. You're not omnipotent. So you're guardians. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, they pretty much said what I was doing. Other than being too close to the property lines up there is what I'm concerned about. I don't want to see another tower up there either.
Okay, there isn't any other public comments. I will close the public comments. Is there a question? Is there any documented proof? And I'm not disputing what you folks said in your public comment. Is there any documented proof that the radiation, if that's what it is doing, is that doing what it's doing to our wildlife? Is there any documentation out there from any company or whatever?
I can't say that, I just haven't done the research.
So there's no documented proof one way or the other? Is what I'm trying to find out here is if there's been a study done or whatever that these towers are giving off radiation or whatever it is. I'm asking for
Google AI, which obviously isn't perfect, but essentially says that studies indicate that bat activity is significantly reduced near radar installations, which have a much higher EMF level than cell phone towers, and there's no evidence that cell phone towers deter them.
It's the radar.
It's the radar has a much more powerful. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not claiming to. I'm just saying that's what Gemini comes up with scouring the internet. So it does appear that radar installations do have a significant impact on bats.
I can back up what he was saying though, and that the FCC,
I was just reading that in here.
yeah, they're the regulatory authority, but part of this, I mean, when they do these projects, I get a number of emails, as they go through the National Environmental Policy Act review, the National Historic Preservation Act, Endangered Species Act, antenna structure registration, and then there's FAA as well. So as you said, there is a number of federal reviews that go along with these projects.
So when you propose a tower, do you have a backup, an alternate?
Well, when we go through a project like this, there's a search area and we contact landowners. We have to, find a landowner that's interested in doing it, which I did personally. And I don't know off the top of my head, I placed probably 30 phone calls to surrounding residents or whatever, they're landowners within half mile of that area. And there was.
When did you do that?
I placed those calls, it would have been probably 6 months to 9 months ago. Well, the property would need to meet certain criteria in order to construct it, so I didn't call everyone unless they had a property that would be suitable. Maybe that helps, that. But the other thing I would say is, Verizon wouldn't spend the money, and the Towers LLC wouldn't spend the money to build a tower if there wasn't demand there and necessity for it. They don't just, throw away $300,000, $400,000 for no reason. Okay, so there's demand for it. So then we look to the county or jurisdiction's code to make sure we can meet all their requirements, which we do. Then the other adjacent towers there, unfortunately, they're not structurally adequate to be able to place telecommunications antennas of today's weight on them. And if anything, the aesthetics has already been set in that area that it actually blends in with existing.
What about the idea that, like, for the family tower, about refurbishing or build new and then co-op with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's not what the Towers LLC is proposing to do. They're trying to follow a county code to do that, and to reinvent the system is not what their objective is.
They want their own.
Yeah. Not that Verizon didn't look at Family Radio Tower actually beforehand.
Right.
But if that's not gonna work, that's the next step.
Can you address it was 8 to 12 miles, right?
What's that?
It was 8 to 12 miles?
Yeah.
The comment was, doesn't there have to be another one in another 8 to 12 miles? Can you kind of expand on
Yeah, I
that?
mean, there's already existing towers in that, 10 to 15 mile range away from that area. So this would be filling the gap of the adjacent towers that are already there and offloading those towers is essentially what it is. But if you get in a metropolitan area, there's towers built every quarter mile, every half mile, because that's what the demand is causing. And those jurisdictions have certain criteria we need to meet in order to be able to do it. And that's the job of the jurisdiction and the body in charge of that. And it's vastly different in a metropolitan areas than it is in a rural county code. And in this case, we've met all the criteria of what the county code has for regarding communications towers. And so we're pursuing the conditional use permit.
I think we had one not that long ago, right on the edge of Caledonia. I don't think that one started construction yet. But it's gonna have essentially two towers right next to each other, right? Directly next to each other. In essentially a residential area, right? I mean, it's on the edge of Caledonia, arguably should be part of Caledonia. I mean,
Is that within the city limits?
it's right outside the city limits
Oh, okay.
technically. Yeah, both of them, but it's essentially right on the edge of town. There's one up already. been there a long time, but they had ran into the same problem where you couldn't put additional on there that the carrier wanted. And it's essentially competition between two towers of different companies putting them up.
So this is number 3 of 9 that's been proposed?
This is a different company.
I know. So that other one's just the one company is
Yeah.
gonna have 9?
Yeah.
And it's and the other thing is, it's kind of one of those tough things, 'cause it's like people are voting on this with this. People are deciding, do they want it or not? Like I said, there's no reason to build the tower unless the demand is driven by the consumer.
So we should just,
Well, a lot of times, yeah, I agree, we should. Might be better, but, you know, that's the consumer's ultimately driving the demand to put these towers up because they want better service or they'll switch providers. So it's either do it or the next guy will. And it's really us that's forcing all these towers up as a society. If we don't want them, we got to stop using these things. Or they ain't gonna work very good. That's your options.
The world would be better off if we didn't use them.
I agree with you.
Well, that's a fair assumption, you know, it's dollar driven. And in their ignorance, buying their phones, they're not understanding that by buying more phones, I'm demanding more towers. That's implied by a business mind. However, I would like us to think more forward as citizens, as a market, businesses that, listen, we want what you got what we want, but we have a concern. If you're gonna compete, you all want 9 towers each, then you better build 1 tower.
well, I get what you're saying. We should try to not build so many of them. Let's try to utilize
Let's be
one
smart.
instead of building 3, use 1. Can we use 1? But I know like in Fillmore County, I think their code is a little stricter than ours.
I would imagine most are.
And that's something we've talked about in our previous applications for towers, is that maybe we should revisit our ordinance to look at that and see, what other counties are doing. And because I have a feeling we're gonna be peppered with these things here. And
Based on how our ordinances are laid out right now. that's
right,
what's gonna happen.
well, it's gonna happen because we're pretty lax with our ordinance compared to other counties, is what I'm saying.
They've been forced to because of the metro surge.
Yeah.
So
But,
could you build-
but we're dealing with what we got today. That's what I'm just saying in the future, we gotta do I think we should look into doing something.
Being an expert on this subject, so can you build a stronger tower that can support, I know you talked about Verizon's #1 customer, right, or gonna be the first one.
Yep,
But it would have the structural support to add the other major carriers on it?
this one will, correct.
Well, would it have the structural support to add BN and other people, or at a certain point, do you run out of space and room at certain levels that you need?
Yeah, I mean, there's some math that I'm not privy to, but I mean, when you're planning at least 2, I think there's at least 3 adjacent towers. There's a page in the construction drawings that you see, that it says the additional carriers. I think there's, Verizon's the top one, and then there's, I believe, 3 additional carriers it'll support. So they're taking that into their considerations of what like weight would be for those 4 different locations. Now, could it handle a small county whip antenna? Sure. But a lot more, if there was a 5th major carrier out there, then it might run into some structural issues. But they're certainly being designed right now to be able to hold the capacity and the weight of the modern day and 4 carriers.
Yeah.
Because that's their business model, right? The more carriers they get leasing from that tower
More money building.
is where they're gonna break even on this.
That's where I think it's got kind of a struggle, because you probably have, I'm guessing the problem we have is we have a bunch of outdated infrastructure out there that people don't want to be on anymore. They want the new modernized equipment. And that's why, part of the reason it looks like so many are going up, because you got these other ones there that aren't to the same level that they can build today.
It's capacity driven, what I spoke of earlier, right? The demand, one antenna, it's generally set up in a 3-sector array. So your antennas, there's 3 sets of them up there. They go to 0 degrees, 120 degrees, 240 degrees, right? Well, each one of those sectors and the radios that go with those antennas can only handle so much traffic at the same time. So the consumer demand is what's causing them to be, maxed out basically, where people are getting slow speeds, getting frustrated, it's not working like they want it to. That's where the additional tower needs to be placed, 15 miles away or 10 miles away to offload the demographic and the traffic load to make it so that they can operate at full capacity and not limit people's speeds and that sort of thing. They wouldn't do it otherwise. They're not looking at throwing away $300,000-$400,000 for no reason.
Are they designed for future capacity?
What's that now?
Are they designed for future capacity, or are you billing for, this is what we need right now?
I think they're being designed for future capacity based on what I just talked about, where it's built for 3 additional carriers to go on. They're not going on there immediately. The seed carrier is, which helps them foot the bill to build the tower
Right,
and makes it financially
But you have
feasible to
capacity
do.
to get more.
But then there's capacity for 3 additional users with the same amount of equipment, basically. So yes, I mean, it would handle all 4 major carriers to be on this tower without any issue. And the other towers, I'm not sure when the Burlington Northern site was built, but I did look at that one too, it's about 0.43 miles south. But it's got their microwave dishes on it, and it's approximately 100 foot in height. I mean, that wouldn't have the capacity structurally nor the elevation to achieve what would need to be achieved. So that's kind of on that tower I didn't speak of earlier, but the family radio tower is structurally, was built in 1985. Cell phones really didn't start coming out until the mid-90s or early 90s with the first, carriers, regional carriers deploying.
So it wouldn't be feasible then for your tower or your company's tower to tag on, or they could tag on to your tower to get rid of the other towers. It wouldn't be economical, feasible, I'm talking dollar wise.
Right, it wouldn't be economical because we're driven by a capitalist society. I mean, it's run by economics and zoning codes. And we would have to get agreement with the tower owner and the landowner, and what if they don't want to? I mean, it's not how the US system's set up, It's driven by capitalism, and we follow the zoning codes that are available, and as long as we can meet them, we try to apply for our conditional use where it's necessary. Like I said, they don't build these towers for giving away money,
So what you're saying is Verizon makes a better return off their tower, so they build a tower. If US Cellular or T-Mobile wants their tower, they'd rather have their traffic on there because it costs less to share with you. Is that economics of it? When we roam off of our main carrier, is there an additional cost to Verizon that you wouldn't experience if it was your tower?
I don't have that kind of data. I don't know that answer.
Well,
And it's not Verizon's tower.
Somebody else.
It's a third part. The tower owner isn't Verizon, if that answers that question.
Are they leasing service from?
They're leasing space on that tower for their antennas. And helping with the seed cost of building the tower shell, yes.
So it's good.
There's an agreement there. I don't know what that is. I'm not privy to that.
So you don't know that, for instance, if I'm roaming and I have T-Mobile, there's not a cost to Verizon or T-Mobile for sharing the other person, other companies.
To my knowledge, there is no roaming anymore.
Well, we used to,
It used to be back in the older technology days and less infrastructure out there. There used to be roaming agreements between carriers. And I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure that in today's LTE, 4G, 5G networks, unless it's mandated by the FCC based on some purchase of a smaller regional carrier, they don't share services. So if you have T-Mobile and there's no service there, you got no service there. It's not gonna jump over onto Verizon. That doesn't exist anymore.
So you say there's more spaces on there, but wouldn't everybody want that 260-foot space? 'Cause that's gonna be the best, or they're all equal spaces if you put 4 carriers on there?
Yeah, I mean, when you get to a 250-foot tower, there's adequate room where the lowest center line would be for the other carrier, probably like 235. They're all pretty equal, yeah. It's pretty non-eventful there. If you're talking in a metropolitan area and you can only build a 100-foot monopole and the lowest one has to go down to 55 feet, then that gets to be an issue, but not on a 250-foot self-support tower.
Well, especially on a super high raised elevation like up there. Right?
Yeah, you didn't build it in the valley.
Correct. Yeah, it's definitely built to where it will provide the best service. That is correct.
Same need where it's built.
Well, what do we want to do here? We could sit and talk all night and get nothing accomplished.
I would ask that this person, the organization that he is representing, take back to the organization themselves and say, why don't we think more into the future? As to gaining our partners or competitors as partners, build for them, with them, the infrastructure. Instead of everybody for themselves. I know you have 3 or 4 extra spaces on the tower, given the height of the bridge and the height of the tower and the band of 150 or 15 feet, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But I would ask, given this one earth, that we think forward instead of today. It's a new paradigm, maybe. Maybe it's a new business model. Maybe it's the one that it's the new mousetrap that nobody wants to talk about, but in the future we're going to have to. That's all I can say. That's all I have.
Well, we gotta move on here.
I guess all I'll say in a final statement really is that we meet the code as it is written. So we feel like we're meeting all our obligations in that respect. The FCC regulates all of the radio transmission requirements, so it limits what local jurisdictions can weigh in based on human health concerns and that sort of thing. If there's anything I'm not addressing that you need me to, I'm more than happy to answer more questions. But yeah.
One thing about there's 3 residential houses within a quarter mile of that thing. One of them was within 100 yards.
I think in the fence, in our past practice, like I was saying, we approved a tower nearly within Caledonia city limits. And there's another tower about 50 yards from Caledonia city limits. So I think the idea of people near it has already been handled with other things we've approved.
The Wilkie Drive one as well.
Yeah. We've built these towers right next to big residential. I mean, the city of Caledonia has 2 of them on their edge. So I don't want to look at it either, but I also like cell phone service.
Well, should we go to the findings?
Ready?
I'll make a motion to strike 9 and 13.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, so number 1, that the proposed use conforms to the county land use plan. Analysis states that Houston County's vision statement is to provide quality, essential, and affordable public services to the community, and the effect of having improved communication services is interwoven in reaching many of the supporting policies and goals outlined in the land use plan.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Number 2, that the applicant demonstrates a need for the proposed use. Analysis states that the applicant identifies that the tower will increase telecommunication coverage and capacity, which will benefit the community and emergency services.
All in favor of 2, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Me, I think they want it. I don't know that they need it. So I'm gonna vote no.
So you vote nay then?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 3, that the proposed use will not degrade the water quality of the county. Analysis states that the applicant has identified that there are no long-term uses associated with this proposal that have the potential to degrade water quality.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
4, that the proposed use will not adversely increase the quantity of water runoff. Analysis states that the lease area, which will amount to less than a quarter acre, will consist of a gravel pad and is located at the crest of the hill. This is minimal impervious surface that should not create an adverse increase in the quantity of water runoff.
All in favor of 4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 5.
5, that soil conditions are adequate to accommodate the proposed use. Analysis states that geotechnical reviews will be conducted before the foundation is designed, but the applicant does not believe soils will be prohibitive. NRCS has the soil classified as a silt loam, which is the predominant soil in the county, and there is nothing within the description to indicate there may be issues citing a structure.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
6, that potential pollution hazards have been addressed and that standards have been met. Analysis states that pollution hazards should be limited. Waste generation from construction and maintenance of items such as batteries, diesel fuel, or propane for generators, and electronic waste will need to be disposed of properly.
I got a question on that. So you'll have a generator on this?
I'm not positive if it's in the drawings or not. Sometimes they're in there, sometimes they're not. Without looking at the drawings, I can't tell you for sure.
I have a question too. Are we considering pollution as the magnetic pollution or,
Anything, I guess.
okay,
Waste generation from construction. Isn't that, or that's the next one, sorry.
Oh, well, the question, I guess, does reference pollution hazards, so that is across the board. But in the research I had done, the primary items associated with these types of proposals were due to the batteries and diesel fuel and propane.
So if there was a generator, you'd have fuel storage that was contained.
Yeah, I mean, there's natural gas, there's propane, there's diesel.
Right.
I don't know what is
Right.
in that plan for
Yep.
sure, if any. Sometimes they don't plan them in there.
And you don't know the next carrier, or the other two carriers, I
Right, we
guess,
wouldn't
so.
know what the other carriers would be putting in there either. I mean, they would have to follow the code, right? If it's not, we wouldn't be able to get a building permit for it because they would say no. So that would be addressed during the building permit process, I guess,
Right, that'd be going through yep.
which it will be in this case too, I guess.
Okay, all in favor of 6, we're on 6, right?
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
nay,
7,
7, the adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. Analysis states that an easement including both road access and utilities is part of the scope of this project, along with both extensions of fiber and electric lines.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed? Go ahead.
8, that adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use. Analysis states that outside of the initial construction, there will only be periodic check-ins at this location by tower maintenance staff, and there is space within the leased area for parking for maintenance employees.
All in favor signify by aye.
aye,
Opposed?
10, that the conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. Analysis states that cell towers do create a visual impact, but the planning commission may feel the benefit of improved and cost-effective communication outweighs that cost. In fact, the applicant states that most property buyers feel a strong wireless network is an important and attractive element in a home search.
All in favor of 10 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
11, that the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area. Analysis states that this is a rural area of predominantly tillable land and farm, non-farm dwellings. This proposal will remove minimal land from production and should not impact adjacent landowners' ability to construct dwellings or otherwise develop and improve their land.
So you were saying this is taking 10,000 square feet?
100 foot by 100 foot, sure.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
12, that adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibrations so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. Analysis states that this proposal will not include any offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, or vibration, and tower lighting will be in accordance with FAA regulations.
All in favor of 12 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to
14, that the intensity of any proposed commercial or industrial development is not greater than the intensity of the surrounding uses or not greater than the intensity characteristic of the applicable zoning district. Analysis states that this is considered a commercial use, but there are no density requirements for these proposals.
all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
Number 15, that site-specific conditions and such other conditions are established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Analysis states that the FCC is responsible for setting and monitoring parameters on health and safety standards related to cellular telephone towers. Issuance of permits indicates that they believe those standards have been or will be met. In addition, the proposer has cited the tower in a location that should have minimal or no impact on structures, public roads, or neighboring properties in the event of a collapse. The applicant also stated the FAA has identified it will not be a hazard to air traffic.
All in favor of 15, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nope.
Motion to accept the findings.
Make the motion?
Did you make it, John? Yes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. I'll go ahead and read the recommendations.
So it would be a motion to recommend the Houston County Board approve a conditional use permit to build a telecommunication tower in the Agricultural Protection District with 3 conditions in Crooked Creek Township. 1 is that the permittee shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations. 2, that the county may enter onto the premises at reasonable times and in a reasonable manner to ensure the permit holder is in compliance with the conditions and all the applicable statutes, rules, and ordinances. And 3, that the tower shall be decommissioned if inactive for a period of 12 months.
Anything with that fall zone?
If you guys want.
Didn't you say it was off by?
It was off by 10 feet, so it does fall into a neighboring property. The house in that direction was about 300 feet away. So, and there would be no structures impacted if it was to fall even at 134 feet. He thought, the other thing I guess we could do is he thought he would have it by the time the board would make a decision, so you guys could add this condition similar to that, or just have a discussion, I guess, similar to what we did last month for one of those proposals, where we add the condition, but then if it is provided, we just eliminate it for the board approval. Or you don't have to do anything, it's up to you guys. To have the fall zone certificate updated to accurately reflect.
Yep, and if it gets rectified before the board meeting,
Well, then,
I
yep.
agree.
What's our process for knowing if a tower's been decommissioned to know if it has to be, if it's been inactive to know if it has to be decommissioned?
We do not have one that I know of.
we rely on good faith that
Yes.
they're no longer using it, they're gonna tear it down.
I imagine a lot of times when these situations come into play, people don't want to pay taxes on things that don't exist. And so that's where, especially old houses and stuff get caught when they approach the assessor's office to have things removed or.
Have we had
added.
one removed that you can think of?
Not in my time here, but that's been, or not that I'm aware of, I guess, in my time here. I could look into that, though.
I guess it'd be it.
So you got 4 conditions?
Yeah.
On the fall thing, just out of curiosity, when's the last time you know of one that's fallen?
Honestly, years ago, there was one in North Dakota. But that, I don't even know how, maybe that was probably 10, 15 years ago, and I have no idea when it was constructed, what anything behind it would be. I just faintly remember hearing one, but that'd be like it. I've never heard of any other ones.
I remember Channel 19's tower fell one time when the first tower they built.
Somebody cut the guide wire though?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
On Jumper Ridge?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
On Jumper Ridge, yeah.
Guide wires were cut.
Intentionally?
Wasn't me. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I've seen them decommission a guide wire one before, and that's all you gotta do is lose the tension on one of those cables, and it's down immediately.
I've seen videos of those too.
Yeah. Okay.
Did we didn't have a motion on that, right? Or did I just miss that?
We, need a motion to add the fourth condition.
John, you made that motion, right?
You made the motion?
Did somebody second it?
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Proposed motion to recommend granting a conditional use permit for a telecommunication tower in the Agriculture Protection District with 4 conditions. It's up to you folks what you want to do from there on. I just read it.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval.
A second.
Did you second it, John? All in favor, well, let's have a roll call on that one.
Josh Graham?
I'm gonna say aye. It's definitely not the greatest visual, but I think based on past experiences that we've granted right next to residential, I think it's hard to say we would deny this one.
Franklin?
I think that Eric's comment was well taken. We could be lambasted with towers all over. If we don't review our ordinance, and of course, all we are here is a recommending board to the commissioners. If we make a motion to approve this tonight and it passes, the commissioners, they can overrule us, as they do it quite often. So, our recommendation is just a recommendation to the county board.
Eric?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes, we have to, I feel like we have to follow suit with the one we did. I don't agree with more towers, more infrastructure. I think we need to look at that. I think they need to consolidate in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, we're gonna look at them all, but yes.
Rich?
Reluctantly, yes, only because we've approved others in the past, and I don't think we can single this particular tower out, but I would like to look at things a little more too, because I think we will be inundated with towers.
Larry?
Yes. The only question I have is that neighboring tower, that Burlington Northern one,
Yes,
you said was made 1985?
the family radio one was 1985.
What is the life expectancy of those structures? Is it 40 years? The lease is usually a 40-year lease, isn't it?
It depends on the weight that's being applied to the tower. I don't know how long it's engineered to last as it was designed for. I have no way of knowing that. You know, it was designed for the weight, it was designed for whatever that was. And then I suppose, there's probably a life expectancy, but I wouldn't know what that would be.
I know that the rest of the towers we talked about, there's a 40-year lease with the landowner on these towers that could be extended. But I was just wondering about these towers built 45 years ago, the technology of those put up compared to the technology of those now. I think the technology of those now would be a lot more rigorous.
I would venture to agree with you, I guess.
So maybe that one could be, what is that tower used for? Do you have any idea?
FM or AM antennas, I guess I'm not sure which don't carry near the weight and load of the wireless carriers these days.
It'd be nice if that one in the future was taken down and added on to your tower.
Mhm. If the capacity would load, if the antennas wouldn't interfere, they'd have to use some frequency studies. You know, if Family Radio ended up getting rid of that tower and wanted to go on this tower, it's a possibility. I mean, it's capitalist society. They're gonna decide if it's economical, they want them to, if the frequencies that they're using don't interfere with them. Because there are some issues with FM signals and the telecom frequencies, but there's usually a certain distance and whatnot, so. A lot of these questions I shouldn't even be diving into because I'm not the expert on some of this stuff there, I guess.
John?
Yes.
All right.
Motion is carried then.
Yep.
Like I said before, the commissioners may overrule us. They did last week, so it's very possible. I'm sure you folks know that the zoning ordinance was changed, didn't you? Everybody on the board knows that. Commissioner changed the zoning ordinance on the mines, overruled the planning commission again and recommendation, and they approved went back to the old ordinance on our mines, our sand and gravel mines, a half a mile.
Yeah, they made that decision. And I guess to be fair, you guys just failed to pass a motion too, so it was kind of an inconclusive decision as well. Yeah.
I know we all want to extend our meetings.
We just had a motion,
You had a failed motion to pass, yeah.
Can we look at other counties like Fillmore and what they have for their tower?
I think it'd be a good idea
At
to
the
look
next-
Yeah.
look at Fillmore counties and look at what theirs says, and I think that's something we should consider.
Yeah.
Sooner
It's
rather than later.
something we can take a look at. We have another ordinance I'm working on right now, but after that, we can look into
Add
this
it to
one.
your list, Amelia.
Yeah, no problem, Chase.
I'm not telling, I'm just asking.
Do we have the authority as a planning commission to come up with a recommended zoning ordinance change, or do you have to get direction from the commissioners for us to do this? Eric, you can answer that.
Well, we've discussed it before at the last cell
Yeah.
tower thing. I think it's something that, you know, I can express at the board meeting that we should look into this. And if you guys are all in agreement, as a planning commission, we should look into like what Fillmore County's ordinance says and to have these spaced out instead of in a big clump, so.
And you're talking in reference to this, or is there something else that you're, or some
No,
other
just
direction you're going with it? Or,
What Franklin wants to know is the planning commission have the power, the authority.
To go ahead, right.
Go ahead and write up an ordinance to.
A potential ordinance
Proposed
change.
ordinance, right.
Or do we have to have direction from the commission?
In the
I think-
framework of a public hearing, right?
I think staff can undertake anything if if it's felt that there's a need for it, whether it come from you guys or the planning commission.
From the commissioners, you mean?
Or, yeah, from you guys or the board of commissioners, yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, is that something that would get our meeting so lengthy if we had this at a regular monthly meeting, or?
Well, I think what could be done is Amelia could work up some language, some.
Yeah, we'll look into what other counties do, and, again, like, this is another area where our ordinance, I guess I don't know when this language went into effect, exactly, but a lot of the meat and potatoes of the ordinance was done 30, 40 years ago, and cell phones weren't a big thing. So we have just limited requirements for telecommunication towers, so that's something, we can see what other counties are doing, what kind of setbacks they're looking at,
We don't
decommissioning
necessarily have to
requirements.
reinvent the wheel here.
Yeah.
There's other counties doing things that we probably should be doing, and we could follow along with what theirs is.
Yeah, I can pull examples for you guys, and then maybe if you wanted to see.
Good review 'em.
Yeah, send them home with you, and then if there's certain things that you guys think are important, we can throw together the, kind of the base language to take a look at, and then we'd have to advertise it for a public hearing.
But you wouldn't have to strictly stop at Fillmore County, you could get.
You know, you get other
Other
counties.
counties.
Yep.
Yeah, I just.
I'm just using
Look at
them as
other-
example.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was too.
yeah, I
Other
understand.
similar ones.
Well, then,
Although we get told that we shouldn't be doing what other counties doing, we should be doing what we wanna do, so.
I agree.
It is
And-
a slippery slope, cause that's the problem we have is everyone says, well, that city, that county did this, we gotta do it, and then all of a sudden you end up with more regulations than you can possibly imagine. You wonder how we got here, and it's cause we all copied the last person. We
Exactly,
one up them.
and there's some truth to that, yep.
You gotta be careful on it too. I think it's a good idea to get a framework of, cause I feel like there is an economic incentive for this to happen in terms of, if I build the tower, I want more people on my tower. I want limited towers around me, right? So it's like seems like there could be a way to figure it out. Just try to get some ideas from folks to.
and that's true, but they're in business just like the implement dealer that sells his brand of equipment, and the other implement dealer in town, he sells a different brand, and it's about the jingle.
Well, the thing I worry about it with it is we just grant a natural monopoly to somebody is the way to stop it, right? And then you don't have competition, but then the issue you have is you don't have competition and we're enforcing the monopoly. Cause that's the way to limit the towers, is to grant, you get a tower, no one else can have one in this area. But what are you doing? Costs are not going down then because they know they have no competition.
Kinda like sand mines, you can have a sand mine here, but nobody else can have one, right? Costs go up.
Is there anything else before we adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.